Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys ACGHK figure preview video. Before we begin, I want to say a massive thank you to Ryan Kirkwood for coming out with me in person to the convention and for snapping these gorgeous high-res pictures plus these intro videos. Show Ryan some love in the comments below because without him, this series literally wouldn't be possible. If you're looking to pre-order your very own copy of the 2.0 Iron Man Mark 42, I've included some links to Pop Collectibles in the description below, along with the discount code Justin's Collection, for 5% off your order if you do decide to buy from them. As always, do your own research, make sure you're comfortable before buying. If you're heading down to the description, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button, so you're notified as soon as a brand new convention figure preview video goes live on the channel. Okay, let's go! Mark 42, The Prodigal Son returns, a 2.0 version of a lot of people's least favorite Iron Man suit from a lot of people's least favorite Iron Man movie. Well, I love the Mark 42 unapologetically. This suit is gorgeous. The gold color scheme with red as the accent color flips the traditional Iron Man color palette on its head. It was bold, but it was innovative, it worked, and it makes for a figure that is going to stand out in the display. Hot Toys, you bloody geniuses, you finally cracked the whole battle damage switch out part thing. Whenever you've tried this in the past, you half-assed it. Some pieces were battle damaged and others weren't. Didn't really look like a cohesive battle damaged thing. But with this guy, they've nailed it. You'll see what I mean when we pan up to the actual figure. They've also included this swap out arm, and I'm 99% sure that's a medical silicon arm. You can see that it's jointless for the elbow, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if that joint can move. It has that telltale medical silicon look about it with heaps of skin texture, and there's that subtle translucency to the skin that looks like real human flesh would. These interchangeable panels range from completely destroyed with the battle damaged gashes and chunks completely missing, to cleaner, still with some scratching and wear and tear and surface detail. And that was the key. The original Mark 42 was completely clean head to toe. It was one of their earlier die-cast figures, and they hadn't they hadn't quite nailed the look of Iron Man in 6 scale yet. They were getting close, but this 2.0 100% necessary, unlike some of the other 2.0s they've been doing. Some of these panels do have some deep gashes in them, but it's not like they're going to be at odds with the rest of the armor. You can see that clean chest plate. There is still some significant scratching on the surface. A byproduct benefit of all of that battle damage is that if you happen to scuff up the paint during posing, like I unfortunately did with my 2.0 Mark 6 diecast, then it's not going to be super noticeable. It's going to blend in a bit more with the rest of the battle damage on the surface. Well, at least that's what I've tried to tell myself. Very unfortunate that I did that. I should have been way more careful when it comes to posing. The shoulder pads are probably made out of die cast because they usually are. The rest of it, 99% sure that's all plastic. He comes with 3 chest plates in total. That's more chest plates than I think we've ever received with any Iron Man figure from Hot Toys, ranging from clean yet still dirty, to battle damaged a little, to battle damaged a lot. You'll see what I mean when we pan up to the figure because he's currently wearing the completely destroyed chest plate. I don't mean to keep repeating myself saying when we pan up, but seriously, we do have to pan up so you can see the darn thing. There are 2 different versions of this, the regular and the deluxe. For me, it's deluxe or bust. I want absolutely everything on this table, all of the little interchangeable bits and pieces, because the Mark 42 is one of my favorite suits. It's not that for everyone, I get it, it's a polarizing look for Iron Man, but I've already said it just one more time, it's completely different, it's out there, and it's going to stand out for all the right reasons. The car battery wins it for me. That's my favorite accessory of the bunch. I'm hoping, though, that we don't have to install the stickers on the darn thing like we had to do with the quarter scale version. The battle damaged faceplate on the helmet looks incredible. The sculpt work is really, really fine and sharp, and I'm just sitting here hoping that the detail translates through to the final product, because whenever we've received battle damaged Iron Man figures, usually they dial down the sharpness of everything, and it comes across a bit too rounded and smooth. It doesn't look like battle damage, it looks like it was intentional. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt with this one. We'll just have to wait and see. This is the special edition bonus. It's an open Iron Man helmet. It's fully detailed on the inside, and you can open and close the panels. I'm never going to have him displayed wearing this because then it looks like just an empty suit. I prefer to have my Iron Man figures in a pose like Tony is actually wearing them. This is a nice to have to display as a proximity piece somewhere near, on, or around the display base. It reminds me of the Mark 6 Diecast 2.0 gantry helmet. It's not the same one because it's a completely different sculpt on the outside. This base is similar to what we got back in the day with the House Party Protocol suits, the top part at least, but the underside is completely different. It's this platform style base that elevates him. There's wires coming off it, and it's USB-C powered because it's got an LED light up effect. I'm not sure I like this base. It is visually interesting. There's too much going on, and I think it's too tall. The standard base is perfectly fine with me, or even just that top portion like we got back in the day with those House Party figures. Adding the piece on the underside of it just wasn't really necessary. Okay, enough about the display base, let's move on to the figure itself. This ain't no lazy repaint. They didn't take the 1.0, slap some new paint on it, and call it a day. They've genuinely gone to town reworking the entire thing from head to toe. This is a brand new release. I wouldn't be surprised if nothing is reused here, not even the hands or the mechanisms on the inside underneath the armor plating. You can open up that armor plating to reveal detail underneath it, and we've got a ton of blue LEDs. They have a cable running up the flight pole connecting into Tony, and that's what's powering him currently on the press table. I'm not sure if they're going to end up going with USB-C as the only power source option because they don't mention it in the pre-order listing on the official Hot Toys Facebook page. And usually they like to mention stuff like that because, folks want to know if it's USB-C powered or not. I have a feeling it's going to be button cell batteries, and I hope that's not the case because I loathe button cell batteries. USB-C is the way to go, and while you're at it, chuck a battery on the inside of this figure. Will add weight to it, giving us that premium feel, and we can charge it up, remove the cable, push a button, and turn all of the LEDs on. Then, if the battery ever eventually dies, we can just have it permanently plugged in with the USB-C cable, which is chances are how most people would have it displayed anyway. Nevertheless, this is a massive improvement compared to the 1.0. The biggest change is that they made him bigger. For a character, for an actor who's not known to be the tallest dude in the room, it's interesting that they keep making their Iron Man figures bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. He doesn't need to be any taller. The 1.0 was the perfect height for me. Some people would probably even say that the 1.0 was too big. Well, this guy is significantly larger than that. Go ahead and check out the Hot Toys pre-order listing. They have this guy standing next to the 1.0. The new one absolutely dwarfs it. Not a deal breaker for me. Yes, scale is important, of course it is. But in a dynamic pose, or in just a walking pose or something, he's going to fit right in. It's not like he's going to be an absolute monster. He's not 16 inches tall. He's still about right. He's in the neighborhood of being the correct scale, is what I'm trying to say. Just something to be aware of if you're trying to figure out whether or not you can fudge this guy into your collection. It looks like they've tightened up the tolerances for the shoulder pads so that he's not as gappy as the 1.0. That first version did have some significant gaps at the shoulder pads. For this one, everything sits a lot more flush on the armor, which is perfect. That's exactly what we want. We don't want gaps all throughout our Iron Man figures because then it doesn't look realistic, like there's an actual dude inside the suit. There are swap out little weapons. We've got the missile pods, you would have seen them earlier. And we've got the wrist mounted rockets that you can interchange panels to have installed on the gauntlets. I'm not sure about the flare, whether or not that can be actually plugged into his back. I'm hoping that's possible because with the quarter scale of the Mark 42, it absolutely was, and it's a MacGuffin, a plot point of sorts in the movie anyway. As for the Tony Stark head sculpt, I don't know why they keep going back and making and remaking Tony Stark head sculpts, because I liked the original Iron Man 3 one, whereas this head sculpt, I'm not so sure about. From some angles, the likeness is really good, and I can see RDJ no problem. From others, yeah, not so much. I'm not sure exactly what's wrong with it. Maybe it's a bit too puffy. You could argue that that's because he's battle damaged and he was inside the suit, sort of blasting the extremist soldiers, so he should be more puffy. I don't think this is their best attempt at an RDJ sculpt. It has moving eyes, so that's a nice bonus. But I'm probably not going to go unhelmeted with the Mark 42. This sculpt is a nice to have, but it's not going to make it into my display. Just weigh in down in the comments below. Do you feel the same way as I do, or do you really like this head sculpt? I'm very curious to find out what the consensus is. Look, at the end of this, I'm just nitpicking. I absolutely adore this. I cannot wait to get my hands on this new and improved Mark 42. It looks like a banger of a figure. Now, I'm getting mine from Pop Collectibles. As always, do your own research, make sure you're comfortable before buying. I have popped some links to their site in the description below, along with the discount code Justin's Collection for 5% off your order if you do decide to buy from them. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video.